Daily Prophetic Dose, August 24th, audio version. Here's something we may not want to hear. Be careful with the New Age movement that teaches you to have power within yourself to manifest all your goals and desires and what you want. Teaches to focus on your own needs and desires rather than the will of God for your life, His purpose, and for our communities and the world. The New Age is focused on individual power. It's all about me, and what I can get or achieve or create. Remember, Satan masquerades as the angel of light, dangling the carrot in front of your face and encouraging you to focus on yourself, your needs and desires, and how to have power and ability to manifest and control, just like he wanted. Just pay attention to which character you're emulating, Jesus or Satan. In our society today, we tend to focus on what we want and desire, and not what God's greater plan is for our communities and the world. We become separate and individualistic, trying to set apart from the whole. Let's not confuse this conversation with personal peace and boundaries, as these are important and they're two distinct, separate issues. What we need to learn, relearn, and master to grow in our faith is for God's will to be done, not our own. All the while able to trust and know that God's will for our lives is also in our best interests, and remember that He placed these desires in our hearts to begin with. The point is, when we pray and grow our faith, we need to be more concerned and committed to God's will being done, even if it doesn't align with our current goals and desires that we really want to be able to manifest into reality. We need to learn to surrender our visions, our goals, and desires to God, and trust that whatever is in His will is better for our family, community, and the world around us. That He knows what's best for our future and the future of the world. He sees the end from the beginning. So on our faith journey, we learn to trust and let go of our plan, our timeline, our goals, our dreams, and our desires, and learn to trust and surrender to whatever His will is for our life. What that means is we pray, and yes, God does hear our prayers, and He delivers our wishes, but as it relates to us surrendering to whatever His will and His purpose is. Today, people tend to pray and ask for this thing or that thing, or this relationship and that outcome, when these things aren't part of God's plan or will for your life, or the community or the world around you. Then we start to wonder why our prayers aren't being heard. Then we question, does God really exist? We question if He's real, if He's paying attention, or if He can even hear us. Then we get frustrated since our own goals and desires aren't being heard or fulfilled on time, on our own timeline, and in the manner we want them to. Then we give up on God and turn to New Age movements that give us what we want, when we want, and seem to give us a result and more control. It fulfills our immediate goals and desires. Results have us feel rewarded and cause us to think we're on the right track. Being able to manifest our dreams and goals into reality is addictive and exhilarating. We start to depend on using our own power to fulfill these desires, which of course feels good in the short term, but it's a trick of Satan masquerading as an angel of light, giving you what you want, which isn't necessarily God's will for your life, your future, the community around you, or even the world around you. You have to start to realize God has more in store for you than your own limited vision and desires. God has more in store for your family, your community, and the world. Satan doesn't want you to know what God's will is for your life and the world, because that would interfere with his plans to control and limit your future. With God, the Creator, your future is limitless. God's vision and power is greater than you can even fathom. Satan wants you to rely on your own power, your own independence and goals and desires to limit you. So although it feels good to be able to manifest your wants and desires in the short term, it can only offer so much to be able to rely on ourselves and our own understanding rather than tune in to the power of God. Satan is a master trickster. He is the father of the New Age deception. Don't forget that time in the Bible where Satan is banned because he wants power and control, chasing after his own desires, visions, and plans. Don't forget that Satan will tempt you like he did Jesus in the desert. He will offer you and tempt you with fulfilling visions and desires you have. He will give you anything in this world, although at the greatest cost you could ever imagine. He becomes your idol, and you rely on your own power and his, which is limited. And worst of all, you become disconnected from your source, from God who created you. Don't fall for his schemes. So how then do we get back on the right page and right with God, away from the new age, away from our focus on our own vision, goals, and desires? Well, for one, when we pray, we tell God to hear our prayers. We ask God to hear our vision. We share our vision with him. We share the desires of our heart. And then we surrender this vision, these goals and desires into his hands completely. And we genuinely tell him that we want his will to be done and not our own. That we trust him and his plans for our life and the world around us. We tell him that if our plans and goals and desires match his purpose and will for our lives, then to hear our prayers and help us accomplish these desires together to fulfill his purpose for our lives, because we dedicate our lives to him. He did create us, after all. Then when we talk to God, we humbly lay these down and tell him that if our visions and goals and desires are not in alignment with the purpose he created us for, then to help us let go of these desires and to show us what his purpose is and work hand in hand to accomplish that. Whatever that is and looks like, we have faith and we trust him and surrender it all to him. This is difficult to do. The result can be completely different than any of the visions, goals, and desires you hold in your heart or your mind. But this is true faith to believe God has the best future for you and the world around you and our lives. True faith is giving our lives over to him and allowing him to reveal his plans and purpose. I know this isn't what anyone wants to hear. It's challenging work, although it's true maturity in faith. It's true maturity in our walk with God and ultimately leads you to more than you could ever imagine. Choose his way. He created you for a specific purpose. Trust and have faith that his plans are greater than anything you could create or imagine on your own. Partner with him to have him reveal his purpose for your life and future. That's the path to peace, freedom, happiness, creativity, abundance, and connection to our Creator that we're all looking for and truly desire. It's time to choose God's way and no longer be deceived by the angel of darkness masquerading as the angel of light, giving you everything you think you want, only to find out it's not what you wanted in the first place, and you lose yourself and your connection to God in the process. We have to wake up, rise up to true faith, and surrender it all to the Lord. He's waiting, and he knows better than all of us. It's time to let go and truly trust that.